Okay, what's up? You talking back to another video, and in the next couple of videos I'm gonna put up, this is gonna tie into what's going on with this fake ass Ukrainian war that's going on, right? And YouTube might take my channel down by me putting this information out, but it's gotta be said. And like I said, if you want to get in contact with me, here's my email right here. Right here, you can contact me at that email address. Alright, I want you to see that. Okay, there's my GoFundMe right there. I got a Patreon account set up, but I'm not getting any money off of it. I don't have any videos monetized. Okay. So let's go. You can come with me this book right here. Do Freemason worship Lucifer? I just bought his other book. His name is Godard Griffo, and we're gonna go into this book right here, the U.S. Constitution. So we're gonna break this up into segments, right? And we're gonna see what's going on. Okay, so in this book right here, the U.S. Constitution, look what this says. So you got Democrats and Republicans, right? Look what this says in this book right here. I want you to see this. Alright, so this is on page 28. And it says right here, I didn't write this, they wrote it. It says, the word democracy does not appear once in the Constitution. Let me read it again. The word democracy does not appear once in the Constitution. So that means that the Democratic votes don't count because it's not a part of the Constitution. So when you vote for Democrat and Republican, as I said before, you see that your votes don't count. They never counted. The word democracy does not appear once in the Constitution. This is coming from the book, The U.S. Constitution and Facts and Fascinating Facts About It. Now, I'm going to go to this book right here. Do Freemasons worship Lucifer? Now, like I said, I'm about to break this up into segments. Okay? Now, we're going to go here. See, the presidents were against central banking. So we're going to go right here on page 107. It says, was it the Freemasons or the bankers? And we're going to go here to page. We're going to go here to page 116 and read some of this stuff, right? Like I said, if a video cuts off, I'm going to break it up into segments. So, right here, it says the penny, Abraham Lincoln. Now, we already know, here, if you go to my channel, and you go here to Abraham Lincoln was a Negro, he's a black person. So we know that Abraham Lincoln was a Negro. He's a black person, right? So let's see what he says about this central banking and why was he really assassinated? Not that whitewashed version of Abraham Lincoln. We're talking about Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was a nigger. Let's go. The penny, Abraham Lincoln. It says Abraham Lincoln hated the idea of a central bank so much that he created his own money to replace it. These are called, quote, greenbacks. He was assassinated for this reason. He said, quote, I see in the near future a crisis approaching that unnerves me and causes me to tremble for the safety of my country. As a result of the war, corporations have been enthroned and an era of corruption and high places would follow. And the money power of the country will endeavor to prolong its reign by working upon the prejudices of the people until all wealth is aggregated in a few hands, and the republic is destroyed. He says, I feel at this moment more anxiety for the safety of my country than ever before, even in the midst of war. Thomas Jefferson wanted our country to print and use our own currency. warning us that, quote, the central bank is an institution of the most deadly hostily existing against the principles and form of our Constitution. He says, I am an enemy to all banks discounting bills or notes for anything but coin. If the American people allow private banks to control the issuance of their currency, first by inflation and then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of all their property until their children will wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. Franklin Roosevelt, he's on a dime. Franklin Roosevelt said in his inaugural address, he says, quote, practices of the unscrupulous money changers stand indicted in the court of public opinion, rejected by the hearts and minds of men. True, they have tried, but their efforts have been cast in the pattern of an outworn tradition. Faced by failure of credit, they have proposed only the lending of more money. Stripped of the lure of profit by which to induce our people to follow their false leadership, they have resorted to exhortations, pleading tearfully for resorted confidence. It says the money changers have fled from their high seats in the temple of our civilizations. We may now restore that temple to the ancient truths. Let's drop down. He says, at this time, something later, he says, the real truth of the matter is, and you and I know, that a financial element in the large centers has owned the government of the U.S. since the days of Andrew Jackson. History depicts Andrew Jackson as the last truly honorable and incorruptible American president. Okay, let's go down here. You got George Washington. He was against the central banking. John Kennedy, he's on the 50-cent piece, right? He says, John Kennedy said, for we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. All right? No expenditure is questioned. No rumor is printed. No secret is revealed. He was also assassinated. Okay? We're going to go here to all these presidents were assassinated because they were against the bankings, the central bankings. Right? You have here Woodrow Wilson. He was on a $100,000 bill. You don't see that. Where's that bill at? Where's that money currency at? You don't see it. Woodrow Wilson was tricked into signing the current central bank, the Federal Reserve, into law in 1913. He was very upset at what he had done and said, quote, I am a most unhappy man. He says, I am a most unhappy man. I have unwittingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation is controlled by its system of credit. Our system of credit is concentrated. The growth of the nation, therefore, and all our activities are in the hands of a few men. Yes? He says the growth of the nation, therefore, and all our activities are in the hands of a few men. we have come to be one of the world. He says we have come to be one of the worst world, one of the most completely controlled and dominated governments in the civilized world. No longer a government by free opinion, no longer a government by conviction and the vote of the majority, but a government by the opinion and duress of a small group of dominant men. What men? The white man. It ain't black people. They ain't running shit. So who is it? That goddamn white man. By a small, he says the government is run by a small group of men. You have here Andrew Jackson. General Jackson slaying a many-headed monster. Who was that with that head on his head? You know who that is. The ones you can't talk about. The ones who takes down your channel if you say something about them. Okay? And he said it again. Andrew Jackson. President Woodrow Wilson. That the world is run by a small group of dominant men. Okay? And then we go here to the section Wars, Rumors of War in the Bank on page 126. It says, moreover, we have been given various reasons for the war, and it is fought for different entities. Of course, we have been taught that the war in Iraq was a response to Saddam Hussein harboring weapons of mass destruction. The war in Afghanistan is supposedly against the Taliban and Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda network. Then we have those old wars, the war on drugs and the holy war, as well as the never-ending current on war on terror. He says our aim is to show how all are related and none of them have to do with the reasons they were initiated. For example, it is alleged that the Nazi Germany were practicing genocide on Jews. He's saying that it's been alleged that Nazi Germany was practicing genocide on the Jewish people. He says, however, Stephen Zarlinga suggests in his book, The Lost Science of Money, that this was because Hitler, temporarily rescued Germany from English economic theory. The theory that money must be borrowed against the gold reserves of a private banking cartel rather than issued outright by the government. According to Canadian researcher Dr. Henry Mankow, this may have been a chief reason Hitler had to be stopped. He had sidestepped the international bankers and created his own money. You see that? And once again, they talk shit about Hitler, but Hitler wasn't with that shit. He wanted his own money. He wanted to do his own thing. Okay? We go here to a man named, on page 127, Jamlar Sachs, who was then head of the German central bank, is quoted in a bit of a wit that sums up the German version of the, quote, greenback miracle. He says, an American banker had commented, quote, Dr. Sachs, you should come to America. We have lots of money, and that's real banking. A German replied, you should come to Berlin. We don't have money. That's real banking. You see that? The example of Nazi Germany was used to give further proof to the connection of the banking system preamble to war and things of that nature. Right? So the presidents and these people were against this central banking system that's set up. Right? They're trying to go back to gold. And who has all the gold hidden and things of that nature. Okay? Let's see here. All right, we're gonna go here. We're gonna go here to Hugo Chavez. He was a black man, and Fidel Castro. They wasn't with that shit either. They were trying to go back to their Euros, right? On page 129. Hugo Chavez, I believe he was assassinated. There he is, right there. He was a black dude. Saddam Hussein, Ahmadinejad. These dudes wasn't with that money current system. Okay. So I'm going to stop this video right here and upload part 2. Presidents wasn't with that money system bullshit.